Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Van Deusen, and you're watching or listening to Mikey's Untitled Music Show.
Welcome to Mikey's Untitled Music Show, guys. Today we're gonna go ahead and dive into the musical mind of Vanessa Van Deusen. How you doing
Hi,
today,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, thank you. How old are you, Vanessa?
I'm 15, turning 16 in May.
15, turning 16 in May. And Vanessa has I believe it's like six or like seven singles out there right now, and it's it's crazy because it's it you see it happen, younger people, they come out and they are younger, but you had a lot going on in 2024, right?
Oh yeah, 2024 was a crazy, busy music year, especially.
So when did you start singing, or when did you start with your musical creativity? Like when you were younger, like have you been doing this your whole life, or is this something that you just started not too long ago?
Well, I've always loved music from a young age. My dad was in a band and he played guitar, and recently has started teaching me how to play guitar. So I've been surrounded by music pretty much my entire life. But I started, getting into singing when I was around 7 or 8. So I got signed up for local voice lessons, not really thinking much of it. But I'm an actress and a model too. So I was at an acting convention where I happened to meet music people, and everything just kind of clicked in the right way. And met up with my current producer, and I started recording songs. And currently, I am going out to LA to meet with Universal Music Group, which I'm so excited. This
Oh,
is my fourth
wow.
time meeting up with them. I'm hoping to get signed very soon, but I'm so excited.
That's awesome. What was that first chat like? Um, and so how old were you when they discovered you?
So when I first started like professionally recording, I was 13 going on 14,
Hmm.
which was a kind of a lot because again, I was big into the acting and the modeling, not really, singing, but I always loved singing. But it was definitely something I caught on to really quickly and I just enjoyed.
And so when you did get discovered, like what was that conversation like? Like, did they come up to you and ask you about it? Did they go up to your parents? Like, how did that first start?
Well, when I first like started getting into professional music, again, I was at an acting convention and my mom, who was my momager, she was, handing out headshots and being like, "Hey, check out my daughter," blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And she, there was an agent walking by and he's like, "I don't really do acting, I'm into music, but can she sing?" And my mom's like, "Yeah, I mean, she takes singing lessons, but nothing definitely professional." And so he's like, "Okay, then, we'll set up a meeting and we'll see if we can get her into the music industry if she wants that." And I've always loved performing since I was little, and I was at an acting convention, so it just kind of all clicked.
Awesome. What was the first time that you remember performing in front of a crowd?
My mom owns a baton twirling group, so she has recitals at the end of the year, similar to like a dance recital. So pretty much since I could walk, I've been twirling a baton. So I've been performing for as long. I couldn't even tell you a date because I've been performing and twirling and acting as long as I can remember.
And how do you feel when you're up there?
I just feel like free, like I could be myself, I could show how I am through either, performing body wise or with my voice. It's a really great and empowering experience.
Who are some of your musical influences?
Well, currently, some of my musical influences definitely have to be Olivia Rodrigo. I definitely love how, empowering her newer albums are and how relatable as her, music genre goes. I also like Taylor Swift, which, she's very popular, as well as Sabrina Carpenter, which I adore watching her journey coming from, a small actress from Pennsylvania to becoming this huge now, like Grammy winning music star.
Yeah. And so when you get into into the studio for the first time? You said that you this is like gonna be your fourth time going into the studio. Uh,
Well, I've been
what's
to the studio more. I mean, I was meeting up at Universal Music 4 times.
Oh,
I've been to the
okay.
studio, gosh, I don't even know how many times now, but it's been a lot.
The first time you went into that studio, um, did you did you feel at home or was it something like because I've gotten different answers, I've gotten like, oh yeah, like I was terrified or oh no, like, I just felt really comfortable up there, it felt good. Like how did it feel for you when you first got into that studio? Did you get any goosebumps? Did you get like nerves? Like what was that feeling like?
Well, when I first stepped into the studio, I first recorded my first two songs in Nashville, and the rest I recorded in LA. But when I recorded my first time in the studio ever, it was nice because the recording studio, it was in a homey area. It felt nice, it felt safe, and I just felt, confident, and I was just able to sing. And I got like, that's what really hooked me, the homey and the safe feeling that I felt in the booth.
And what was that first song that you recorded? Was that the Come a Little Closer?
And, the first song I ever recorded was Hey, Are You a Lot Like Me?
That's right, that's right. And did you have like for that first song, was that anything that you wrote or was that something that like do you have any originals or like are they all your originals?
They're all my originals. I have two covers out. I have a cover of Dreams by Stevie Nicks, and I'm working on a cover of Edge of 17. But everything else besides that is an original. Uh, Hair and I Loved You, Then I Lost You are two of my first, but they're ones that I helped write. I wrote the lyrics, and they helped me come up with the beat and the melody and all that. So I take most of the credit for those two songs.
And when you first started writing, there's a lot of first questions that I like to ask you that. But when you first started writing that like your first song, your first original, um like were you was there any like were you scared to let people read what you wrote? Like were you um like how did you start your writing process when you started, those first songs that like it's brand new to you. You've never written anything before, right? And so what was that process like?
Well, it was a lot of help from my producer at the time, as well, as having my parents, saying it to them because I felt safe and I know they would give me their honest judgment, especially because I was writing about incidents that happened to me like in the past. They were based off of real life events that were, really heart touching to me. And so I wanted to make sure that I was portraying it in a right way. And again, I worked with my producer and I worked with my parents, and I thought they turned out really great. And I wasn't judged, and I just felt great just writing.
And did you write so you said you got help from your producers, but the parts that you did write, like what made you want to talk about those like maybe difficult times or like um yeah, like what made you want to talk about those difficult times or, give your story about that rather than, something different?
Well, I just want people to know that they're not alone. My first song, Hey, Are You a Lot Like Me, is about being bullied as a child, and, being bullied happens to tends to happen to a lot of young people as well as older people. But it's just something I want people to know they're not alone with, as well as my second single, I Loved You, Then I Lost You, about, a little summer romance. But um, they were just, I just want people to know that they're not alone in in a lot of situations.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, that's still kind of around, right? Like I thought that bullying, I mean, I was bullied when I was a kid, definitely. I was definitely bullied when I was a kid. I'm not very tall, so I would get a lot of, you're short, whatever. There was other things that they would bully me for, but um, you know, it's good. It's good that you bring that kind of thing to light, right? Because it's not a good thing. It's not it's one thing when you're joking around and people know that you're joking around, you know, and you're doing it with your friends, but when you're doing it just to be rude or to be a bully, like there's no room for that, right? Like this world needs to be full of love, you know. So it's good that you're kind of spotlighting that. Um these these next couple of songs, or like your last couple, Break It Off and Come a Little Closer. What was the experience like writing those songs? You already have a few songs under your belt. You know, what was different going into the process of creating those songs?
Well, firstly, it was a little bit different because after those first two songs, I moved on to a different producer who's my current producer now, which I adore him. And writing these songs was definitely a different experience because I was top lining, as we say, like writing over already existent music, which I like had an idea, but again, I had to fit it to the melody, which was different, and it was a little difficult at first, but the more I did it, the more I got used to it, and the more the ideas just kept flowing. So I think actually, instead of starting from dead scratch to like having a baseline of at least a like a beat to write to, it definitely helped encourage like write my thoughts, be like, oh wait, this could fit in here, that would work. It definitely helped encourage the creative mind.
Definitely, that's awesome. Um, is there a like a certain genre or a certain artist or song? Like for me, I'm not sure if you've ever listened to so there was a song that just like changed like my musical life. And you know, there was other songs that I had listened to before, you know, and genres and bands that, you know, had a profound, you know, influence on me. But there was this one song, it's called I'm not sure if you would know it or not. It is kind of old and but it's called The Spy by The Doors. And it's a really good song, you know. It's like it's a blues song, bluesy and you know, very classic. But I listened to that song and it opened me up to wanting to actually go and find this different music because I'd never listened to anything like that before, right? Is there something like that? Maybe it doesn't have to be a particular song or anything like that, or maybe a genre that you thought like, okay, this is what I want to do like now, definitely.
So I guess it doesn't correspond to the music I'm currently writing, but it's definitely something I'd want to look to in the future. There's a song called Stranger. It's by Olivia Rodrigo. It's on her newest album. And just the first time I listened to it, I had to re-listen to it because just something about the way it was written. It's an acoustic song. It's mostly acoustic guitar, but
Mhm.
just the way it flowed and the lyrics and the guitar, it just all sort of clicked. And I'd love to write something like that with just having the acoustics and just plain singing. I That's just something I would personally love to make songs in that type of way. I mean, it is still like a pop song, but it's still um the acoustics and not really country. It's not country, which when you think of guitar, you think country, but
Mhm.
it's not. And it's really a song that resonates with me, and I love the melodies and the beats and the guitar.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love acoustic music, acoustic covers. One of my favorite like artists is his name is Secondhand Serenade. I don't know if you ever listened to Secondhand Serenade. It's well he first started as like as acoustic guitar, you know, just him and his guitar. And then he went off to, you know, he eventually obtained a band and that's what they do now. But very good love songs, very good, you know, acoustic sound. If you don't, you know, check out Secondhand Serenade and check out Never Shout Never. Definitely another one. They're for it's a it's a band name, but it's you know, it's just them. So check those out. Yeah, you I think you'll really like them.
All right.
So what do you think that, it is about music that makes it like universally appealing? Like what do you think it is about music that, you know, makes everyone in the world love it?
Is that, music isn't tied to a language or a certain genre, or music has to be this. Music could be whatever you want it to be. And that can definitely draw a bunch of different people. Like, some people can be into rock, some people can be into pop, some people can be into jazz, blues, etc. And there's no limit to what music can be. And I think personally, I write pop music, but I listen to rock music. I listen to jazz music because, I like it and it resonates with me. And I think that definitely adds on to what makes music so universal that, you don't have to like a certain thing. There's a ton of options out there.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that that's, why we go to like concerts, why we all go to music stores, why there's still record stores open right now, right? Like it's just everybody wants music. And that's all also been one of, you know, the big mysteries I would like answered, before I not it's not a mystery, but it's one thing that I'm really curious about is like what is it about music? Like is it the tone? Is it just because it's in a melody? It's different. Like you said, it's not it's its own language, right? Like it's like but what is it? Since before the start or since the start of time, music has been around, right? So it's, you know, I'm just very curious about that.
Yeah.
Um, do you have like when you go or have you performed any of these songs, any of like these songs that you have out in front of a crowd or in front of people before, or is it all just been in the studio?
I have performed live when, as I said before, I'm in the process of signing with Universal Records. And one of their requirements is that they needed me to perform my songs live in a concert type idea. So we rented out a little area. I think it's called Sir Studios in LA. We rented out a room in there, and we had the Universal people come in, but to soothe my nerves, I had some of my fellow acting friends and coaches and peers come in to also watch me perform. And it was a very touching experience because I'm an advocate of it's easier to perform in front of strangers than it is your friends because I've done it many times firsthand. So it was definitely like a whoa, I'm doing this. But there's this thing like it's like when you go to a concert, or if I had experienced this personally, where it's so awestruck that you just kind of like forget it afterwards. Like, wait, I was there, and that's kind of what performing live felt like. It's like I actually did that, and it was like I kind of like I remember what it was, but I was like, I did that? Like that was really cool that I was able to do that?
Yeah.
So I prefer performing live other than anything else because, I'm able to see reactions, I'm able to get feedback, and it's such a great feeling.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too because I never actually thought of that, and it's true. Like you go to a concert, and unless it like not that any of the like I've been to so many concerts. Me and my wife have been to so many concerts, and it's not that you don't care about them or anything like that, but it's true. Sometimes when you leave a concert, it's kind of like I already forgot about that, like oh man, I already forgot about the show unless that show is just like one of the last shows that my wife and I went to like it's in my brain, it's one of the best shows that I've ever been to, just because of the aesthetic and the people around and kind of like the the like the style of music, everybody's there for the same thing, right? Especially that style of music. um But yeah, that's funny. Like I never thought of that. Like when you leave a concert, it's kind of like, yeah, oh, I was there, but then it kind of just like boom, because I guess you had a lot going on in that concert, right? There's so many performances. Um, what do you think is, or if you had, if you were able to collaborate with, another artist, what artist would that be?
My dream collab artist has to be Sabrina Carpenter, just because, I love her backstory, like where she came from, as well as, how she came to be where she is, as well as I love her music style, even from her earlier albums, from like Emails I Can't Send, to now her Short and Sweet tour and all that. I just like her pop style as well as her as a person. She just seems really, sweet and humble, and she just did a collab with Dolly Parton, I think. But that it was yeah, it was a decent collab. But still, just her music style and her as a person, I would just love to actually meet her and do a song with her.
What has been the ultimate purpose of music so far in your life?
Music for me has been a kind of a personal place to vent. When I write my songs, I write them either, based off of real life experiences or experiences that I know people have gone through. And that, there could be someone else out there that's being bullied. There could be someone else out there that's going through a really bad relationship. There's so many open doors. And my goal with, even my acting is I want people to feel things, if like, a bully listens to my song Hey and realizes, wait, I've been doing that, that's not good. At least that's a feeling that, promotes something good. So I want to promote feelings that are good, if the song is supposed to feel that way. If that makes sense.
Wow, that definitely makes sense. That's beautiful. And so my last question is always, what what is Vanessa Van Deusen's message to the world? What do you want to um, you know, put out into this world?
My main message that I want to give to literally everyone is that you're not alone. You could be, in a white room alone, empty, but yet there's going to be someone else out there that's like, looking for you and is there for you no matter what the situation is. And I think that's such a beautiful thing about humanity is that, we're a sociable species and that we don't want to be alone. And it helps so much. So my music I really want to share with people is that your experiences are never really one of a kind, because there's 7 billion people in this world. So you're never really alone. It's sometimes a great but scary feeling.
Oh yeah, and especially like people that don't really have families, right? Or, people that are alone, they can, they can put on a song from a complete stranger and, get some kind of that they never met before. They're probably never gonna meet in their life, right? But they get some kind of you know, like powerful message from it, or they feel a certain way, or there's things like the songs that kind of changed my musical life, like it's not just that one song, but that song was just the most profound to me because of the times that it was, right? And especially the time of my life. But you know, those like Jim Morrison, the lead singer, he passed away a long time ago, right? Like, especially these older bands, you're never gonna meet them, but their music does something to you, like inside, right? And I think it's great. That's a powerful message. Like, you're not alone. Nobody is alone, right? Um, if you're alone, you can find solace and comfort in other things, and music is just for me, like music is one of those things that's just always going to be constant in my life, and it's always going to be there, and it's something that we can all share. So I think that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, definitely. So Vanessa, where can we find your music? And do you have any projects coming up?
So my music is literally anywhere you could stream it. It's under Vanessa Van Deusen. like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube, uh, literally anywhere that you can find music. It's under my name, Vanessa Van Deusen. And of course, all my social medias are also under my name, Vanessa Van Deusen. And for future projects, it's actually really funny the timing of this interview because this Wednesday I am flying out to LA to record two new songs and meet up with the label again. So I'm really excited to go back out there and be in the studio and record and get out of this PA cold too.
Yeah, definitely. You come to California, this nice. We don't know if it's gonna be hot or not, you know. But at least it's hot. We get the sun out here, right?
True.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate this. I can't wait to, yeah, I can't wait to have you on again, and we'll we'll see your musical journey as it goes, and I can't wait. Um, and hopefully hopefully the next time you're in, like you're officially signed. That'd be awesome, right?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Um, but yeah, thank you so much again for joining us. And like I say at the end, everybody, be safe and be great. And remember, we share because we care. Peace.